Hello everybody, Corey here to go over the daily holdings and trades for ULTY. I do apologize that apparently last night's video did not have my voice on it. Somebody mentioned it to me and I went and looked, and I don't know, it was weird because I guess I fast forwarded just to the right spot to hear it. And I could hear my cat meowing in the background. I could hear my cat shaking their little bell jingle, but nowhere on that video was my voice. And so I don't even know how that's even freaking possible. If it's recording everything, then how was I totally muted out? So I apologize. Unfortunately, by the time I got the message about it being my voice not being there, I was already in bed with my husband. I couldn't just get up and record another video at that time. And honestly, then this morning when I got to work, then I totally had forgotten about it with the craziness going on at work. Otherwise, I would have re-recorded it at lunchtime. But I sincerely apologize. Obviously, it's not my intention to upload a video with without talking through it, even though I know most of you, at least by now, if you've been watching the videos, you understand everything on this spreadsheet, as I haven't changed them too much, because especially as I've been working on the estimate videos, they've all taken up a lot of my time. But anyway, to get to it, for those of you that don't know who I am Corey, and I obtain the data, make it readable, and present the data to everyday people like you and me. I provide facts so that those watching can use that information to do their own research and use their knowledge of these funds to make their own decisions. I do not provide personal investment advice, and I'm not a qualified licensed investment or financial advisor. I am an amateur investor. All information found here, including any ideas, opinions, views, predictions, forecasts, commentary, suggestions, or stocks expressed or implied herein are for informational, entertainment, or educational purposes only and should not be construed as personal investment advice. While the information provided is believed to be accurate, it may include errors or inaccuracies. Conduct your own due diligence or consult a licensed financial advisor or broker before making any and all investment decisions. Any investments, trades, speculations, or decisions made on the basis of any information found in my videos expressed or implied herein are committed at your own risk, financial or otherwise. YieldMax ETF risk information. Before investing, carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. This information, along with other details, is available in the prospectus. Please read the prospectuses carefully before making any investment. Investments involve risk, and principal loss is possible. This is copied and pasted directly from the YieldMax ETF website. You can stop and read these risks if you like, meaning you could pause it, screenshot the videos, or you can go directly to their website or prospectus and read them there. But they go through in detail and tell you all the risks of the stock: the underlying security risk, derivatives risk, distribution risk, NAV erosion risk due to distributions, call writing strategy risk, single issuer risk, high portfolio turnover risk, new fund risk, liquidity risk, and non-diversification risk. All right, we are going to move to the holdings tab now. What you didn't hear last night on the video was me asking you questions and asking for your feedback, but because you didn't hear me, I did not change my original sheet, and then I just sort of moved a few things around again to show you. Hopefully my voice comes over on this video and that you will provide me some feedback. But I thought about this when I was doing last night's video. So let's go over here. We do have some tickers, new tickers today. And I'm going to show you. So one of the things that I asked, which now that I zoomed this out, because yeah, this is not, I think one of the things I asked you is, oh, if I make this so I can include everything on the screen, can y'all see it, and is this okay? My guess is going to be no. Dang it. because most of you are probably on your cell phones, and this looks like it may be zoomed out too much. But let me know anyway, because if we can get away with this, how it is right this second, I'm trying to see in the headers if I can move anything around. I might be able to, if this is it, I might be able to move some things as far as those that are bigger, like the net assets, the market value, and the outstanding shares. I could possibly move those over here to the left, and I can just get rid of all those dates in A and B. And then I might be able to make those columns a little smaller, but maybe not too much smaller. I might have to change some of the headers also on these, but I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. Otherwise, I'll just keep zooming in and I'll just keep scrolling back and forth. No big deal. So that was one thing. The other thing that I did was, let me go back a couple. Over here, I kept scrolling all the way to the right to show yesterday's close, the current, and the change, the percentage change between the days. What I did last night, and then I've moved it here, so you let me know. But that's now, I got rid of the, well, I've hidden them. I haven't gotten rid of them yet because I'm waiting on your feedback. Because you know, if you watch my videos, I try to get your feedback on how to do these sheets and what you want to see. Otherwise, you know, what's the point? But I removed, or I hid the stock price, yesterday's price and today's price, and then I've only left the change in price. And what I did, I moved it from over on the right, and I moved it right here, right beside the stock price, so we could see these together, and I wouldn't have to keep scrolling all the way over like that to see those three different columns. And I've just used this one column and moved it over. So as we go through this and I do it, just let me know, you know, what you think about that. And then what I did do, the other thing that I did here was, again, let me go back. So we have here the difference column beside the current price, which is basically, let me just scroll the top, which this is basically saying, are we, you know, where are we in reference to the strike price? So in this case, we are 10% below the strike price. I'm sorry, this current price is 10% below this strike price. And all I did, since I brought this column here over here, I just moved this one to in front of it. So if we go back here to today, you can see that that's moved in front of that. So basically, the strike price is 50, and the stock price is 12% below the strike price. So we're currently 12% below the strike price there, which is usually how I read it most of the time. I don't tell you what the stock price is itself. I just do the percentage. But and then only added this to the right because I was curious, and I started working on this with the single stock ETFs. So then I was curious for ULTY, and the findings are actually very interesting. But what I did over here in this column was try to determine what portion of this market value is for each share, right? So each outstanding share. So what makes up the stock price or the NAV price? And in this case, the majority of the market value is just treasury, cash, and money market. So you can see, apparently we closed at $15 a day or $14.99. I did not realize that. But if we look up here, both of these treasuries, so 95 cents and 95 cents, so that's almost $2 there. And then if we go on down, we have the money market here, the FGXXX. Well, that's $4. So now 456. So now that's $6. And then if we go down, keep going. and then we see cash. Well, that's almost $9. That's $15. Obviously, I rounded up, so here we have an extra 9 cents, and at the top I rounded up, there was 10 cents there, so 19 cents roughly. Of course, these are all rounded numbers, but the majority of that, you know, the stock price is just of all the cash money market, you know, cash in the treasuries. Not much of it is the market value until things start going, the market value of these tickers, unless something goes wrong. So I basically just added it over here to this column. Of course, I should change this formula to be more accurate, like I did on the single stock ETFs. But we'll see. Without going through each one of those, let's look at the daily roundup one to see. Yeah, because we didn't have any that were bad off. We see here Roots bringing this down. Its net assets are over $500,000, so it's bringing the stock down 13 cents. MicroStrategy's bringing it down 14 cents because it's almost 600,000. And then, of course, then they're rounded. But yeah, these are overall by each ticker, and then of course on the trades and holdings, it's actually by each position held. So you can let me know if you would like me to keep this here, or not. We can just leave it on the daily summary. If a daily summary, that's my status of funds at work. On the daily roundup, if you want me to just, I don't know. Let me know what you think about this here. I found it interesting, if nothing else, at least for a one-time thing. But as stocks start going against us, then, you know, we can sort of see that dollar amount. Anyway, I know, lots of changes. I didn't have to worry about the estimate workbooks and doing lots of things this evening. And, yeah. I probably wouldn't have done all this, but I was going to oh, let me just do this for a minute. But then I'm going to go outside, and then a minute was like, oh, let me do this and this and this and this. So then I spent my entire evening after work working on this spreadsheet, all these spreadsheets, the regular daily spreadsheets, that is, and never went outside to work. So that's not good, but here we are. And I know most of you at this point are wishing I would stop talking. But anyway, I did want to go through all those changes. I do need and want your feedback here on your thoughts. At the top for yesterday's stock price, obviously that was not the yesterday's price, but I did reduce that by the amount of the distribution to give us the more accurate change, which shows that we were down 25 cents today, on top of obviously the distribution amount. And we have 23 tickers today. So we've got 3 new ones or 3 returning tickers. And the net assets here have gone up over $5 million from yesterday, or around $5 million. And the outstanding shares were about 4 million yesterday. So we've gone up roughly 350,000. And then you can see yesterday our short call trades were 6 cents. Today we are up to 8 cents. So let's finally get started here. Biohaven, 2 short calls that expire. Oh, and let me just get into this. Let's see if our new ones expire this Friday too. So they do. Okay, so all of our short calls will expire this Friday. That way you don't have to hear me say how they expire this Friday every single time. So we have the 2 short calls for Biohaven with the strike prices of $50 and $60, and we're currently beneath those 12 and 27%. And the stock price actually went down 1% today. If we go on to Clean Spark, we have 1 short call with a strike price of $17, and we're underneath that by 12%. And the stock went up 3% today. And sorry, I was looking over here. So on the right hand side, so you can see like this shows -12, this shows a +6, but that's because the corresponding synthetic position that goes with that, the put portion, because this is the call, the put portion here is -13 cents. So those two added together would be -7 cents a share for the synthetic, for that synthetic position at the $17 strike. And then for the $14 strike, you know, you would add these two together, which is 1 cent. I guess I can, if we decide to leave this, I can change this formula, because the formula for the YieldMax single stock ETFs, I've actually made it so they go together. They add together versus, it might just be a little trickier, but it may not, just because of how this fund is set up, and the single stock tickers obviously are single stocks. But I might be able to make that formula work for this, because those are all on the same spreadsheet. I would just need to check it out, so y'all can let me know what you think there. But what I will do is just go ahead and make this column red to look at that again. And then as you see, I still have all of this the original way, in case some of y'all prefer me not to make the changes that I made. I don't have to revert the holdings back, I just won't change the holdings to the new way, my main sheet. Alright, so to continue going on here, we're going to go to coin. So coin short call, strike price is $260. We're 18% below that. The stock did drop 2% today. Our synthetic, we are 11% underneath the synthetic strike price. If we look at over on the right, it looks like those two added together were -8 cents per share for that one. Carvana strike price for the short call is $75. We're underneath that 8%, and the stock dropped 2% today. And the synthetic $80 strike price, we're underneath that by 14%, which is -7 cents per share. Just giving you how that would run from here on out. Unless it's a significant number for the synthetics, I will not cover that portion, and I'll just keep rolling with the short calls. So in phase here, short call with a strike price of 120. We are currently underneath that 7%, while the stock price did go up 1% today. And then if we go to iPoint, short call strike price is $22.50. We're underneath that strike price by 7, and the stock dropped by 4%. And I apologize, I forgot to say this on the first one, and I used to say it quite a bit, then the past week or so I've stopped, and then somebody asked me the other day, so I should go back to saying it again. But for those of you that don't already know, for the synthetic strike price, we want the stock to be above that. So for iPoint example here, the strike price for the synthetic is $20, so we want the stock to be above it. In this case, the stock price is $20.94, so we are above it, which is why you see a green 5%. And for the short call, we want the stock price to be underneath that. And in this case, we are underneath it by 7%, and that's why you see a green 7. And then, of course, where you see in column P, where you see red numbers, that means we're the wrong way on it. For like ITCI, for example, you can see that the stock's price is actually above those strike prices for the short call, and we want it to be below it. All right. Sorry about that. I just remembered that I needed to cover that. All right, if we go down to GigaCloud, the short call strike price $35 there, and the stock price is actually $34.96. So we are just 4 cents away from that strike price for that short call. And then we have the short call of $40 strike price, and we're currently underneath that 13%. And according to this, we have we did have a decrease, but it wasn't enough to actually be it wasn't 0.5% there. If we go on to intracellular therapies, 2 short calls, $75 and $75 strike prices. As you can see, we're underneath those by 10 and 2%. And if we look over to the right side, both of these, they're bringing the the ULTY stock, the ULTY, ETF price down 2 cents for each line. And the reason is for that, even though, you know, that one is underneath the stock price by, underneath the strike price by 10%, it's because there's only 98 contracts there, versus the one with the $75 strike price, it's only under 2%. We have 363 contracts there. So you can see when you look in the column at the market value, the one is negative 70,000 and the other one's negative 96,000. So yeah, like over here, that one, and you got to remember too, these are rounded numbers. So like that first one could be negative 0.015 rounded, is 2 cents, right? And the other one could be 0.024 rounded, again 2 cents. So that would be why those look similar there. And then you can see an actually good positive synthetic there, that we're above that strike price by that $60 synthetic strike price by 28%. So it's bringing the stock price up 19 cents there. Anyway, those are just some new things, so just trying to point out a few of those there. Let's move on to Janix here. Short call strike price of $55. We're currently underneath the strike price by 13%, and the stock dropped by 5% today. Lyft, short call strike price $19. We're underneath that strike price by 9%, and the stock dropped 5% today. Mind Medicine, we have 2 short call strike prices, $11 and $12. We're underneath those 13 and 21%, and the stock price went down 4% today. If we look at MicroStrategy here, we have 2 short calls with strike prices of $15.70 and $16.00, and we are 24 and 26% below the strike prices here, and the stock dropped 5% today. Now, we need to look at these synthetic positions, because look how large those are. So we have the $13.50 strike price, and we're underneath that one 12%. Now, we only have 3 contracts there. If you add those two together, that's only minus 1%, right? Or 1 cent. Now, if we look at the one with the $1,500 strike price, we're underneath that one by 21%. And that's where the majority of our contracts are. We have 18 there. So if we add those two over there together, we are negative 13 cents for each ULTY share. Now you can see if you look at the single stock ETFs, yeah, that doesn't seem like much, but that will add up, right? And then, of course, if you're looking at the single stock, it's for the entire thing. So, you know, they could be $5 a share or whatever. But, again, they're larger and they're not diversified within the portfolio with a bunch of different ETFs or stocks, tickers. And the single stock only have a single stock or ETF within them. All right, so let's move on to NanoX Imaging. 2 short calls with the strike prices of $10 and $12.50. We're underneath those by 7 and 25%, and the stock rose by 1% today. Root has 2 short calls, strike prices $75 and $85. We're underneath those by 28 and 37%. The stock dropped 13% today. If we look at the synthetic positions, so the $60 strike price has 152 contracts. We're underneath that one by 10%, and it's negative 2 cents a share here. And then for the $70 strike price, we're underneath that 23%, and it has the majority of the contracts of 294 contracts, so roughly 66% of the contracts there, and that's negative 10 cents a share there. If we go on down and we look at Sunrun, the two short call strike prices are $11.50 and $12.50. We're underneath those strike prices by 6 and 13%. The stock did come up 5% today. C, okay, I haven't done that one. C is back. C has been in ULTY before, and it is back as of today. So with that said, let me scroll over. You can see that they opened up the 571 contracts here. You can see how much either they paid or the premium they received per share, and how much overall for C. The short call strike price is $57. We're underneath that by 2%, and the stock did drop 1% today. And then we'll move on to SMCI with the short call strike price of $9.75, and we're underneath that by 2%, and the stock dropped by 2% today. Then we have Symbotic. So Symbotic is back to see us again. 700 shares, and you can see by the share price and total price or premium received there. And you can see the short call is $43.50 strike price, and we're underneath that by 4%, but the stock did come up 3% today. And then something Medics. Hold on, let's refresh my memory. Transmedics here, 364 contracts, and there's the per share and total price there. And the short call is $90, has a $90 strike price. We are underneath that by 2%, and the stock went down 6% today. Viking Therapeutics short call, $71 strike price. We're underneath that by 6%, and the stock fell by 2% today. The synthetic strike price is $75. We're underneath that by 11%, which is down 6 cents per share. And VRT short call strike price is $86. The stock price is underneath that by 5%, and the stock dropped by 1% today. Wayfair short call strike price is $60. We're currently underneath that by 9%, and the stock dropped 1% today. And then Wolfspeed has two short calls with the strike prices of $28 and $29. We're underneath those 10 and 13%, and the stock dropped by 1%. And then if we go look at our summary tab, which again, I keep forgetting to come to this tab. And let me know if y'all still want to see this tab, because I don't know that if anybody even still cares at this point. I know some did in the beginning, but I don't know if anybody still cares. But we have here the holdings and the weightings here. We also have the date that it was added or added back, and the initial IV that it was added or added back here, and the current IV. And we can see here that I should probably, oh, I guess it doesn't include down to 29. It does. And for some reason, some of those, this one still has a percentage again. There we go. All right, so number one, our highest ranking IV. Why don't I see a 1? Did this update? So it does have our new ETFs on it. And this is missing a formula there. Oh, probably because I copied the other and I forgot to copy this cell down. Sometimes, I don't know, we have things come up in between them. Okay, so number 1, I point at 159%. And then our last one, number 23, the intracellular therapies with a 47% IV. So this one may not be here. I'm going to guess this one will not be here next week. But we will see. And then we have holdings by sector here. And then we're negative 1 million in the information technology sector. But is that because MicroStrategy? There was 2 that was over negative, over $500,000 negative. Information tech, so that was MicroStrategy. So with MicroStrategy and CleanSpark and SMCI added together, those are the ones causing that negative there for information technology. And then I did not do this. I did do yesterday's, okay. But I didn't add today's data down here. Nor did I paste. I'll have to get on my computer to paste values, since that's something you can't do on here. But you can see where the outstanding shares had went up 350,000, and the net assets had went up 4.5 million. I'm just going to undo that because it messed up my formatting. And then we just had, today was ex-dividend date, so the next declaration date is May 14th. All right, y'all let me know what y'all think about the changes to the holdings tab here, and let me know how the view was, or if it was too small and I need to go back in to zoom in and scrolling over. But anyway, y'all have a great day, and Lord, I hope there's volume on this one today. I really do. But y'all have a great day. Bye.